Now let me go to Kenny Deery, Chief Executive of Galway Chamber of Commerce, and he joins me on the line because he's been working with his colleagues in the Porter Shed in Galway about what is open and what is not open, and he also had a very constructive meeting with one of the departments yesterday for the business people of Galway. But Kenny joins me from the Chamber of Commerce. Kenny, good morning to you.
Morning, Keith. How are you?
Good, thanks for joining us today. Yourself and your colleague Mary Rogers in the Porter Shed, you've been working on a list of what is open and what is not open.
Absolutely. Well, there's a bright and creative team in Porter Shed, Keith, as we know, and one of the pieces of work that they went to social media on earlier this week was to try and understand, even from a point of view of themselves, what was and wasn't open. And at the moment I'm looking at an active list of about 30 businesses ranging from paint delivery to food and wine to butchers to fish providers that are all open and either doing a delivery or collection service. And Keith, what we're calling on is more businesses, and I heard Mary's Fish just advertising with yourself there now, so they'll be added to the list. But what we're looking for is all businesses in the city and county that are open and doing some sort of a delivery or collection service to get in touch with Porter Shed today, info@portershed.com. And what's going to be published this evening, Keith, the great team in Porter Shed, particularly Robin Paul, Digital Design, and Anthony Shopnessy of Superfly Ireland, are giving their time free on this project today to build out a special web page that will be attached to the Porter Shed site, but it will be the one-stop shop for those who are looking to see what's open and what's not in this difficult time. And as I say, it ranges at the moment. I'm looking at everything from cheese to food and wine, some gourmet items in there that you and I enjoy, Keith, but also some of the practical stuff that people maybe are struggling to get at the moment. So for those businesses listening that are doing some sort of service at the moment, please reach out to info@portershed.com and you'll be added to the list. And as I say, Robin Paul, Digital Design, and Anthony Shopnessy are pulling that together this evening. So it's something that we're delighted to work with them on, and I compliment Mary indeed and all the team in Porter Shed for doing this.
So info@portershed.com.
Absolutely.
When will you be able to let me have sight of same?
We'll let you have sight of same this evening, I'm told, once they're allowing. This only really started yesterday morning out on social media, and with momentum building as of last night, there were 30 businesses that had reached out, and we hope to have a complete list, and it'll be a working document, as you know, as certain businesses, you know, we only heard announcements this morning of one business that's coming back to being open from Thursday through to Sunday. So this evening, Keith, this will be live, I'm told, on the portershed.com website, and from there we can share links from the Chamber with yourself, and it'll be right across social media over the weekend. So it'll be a really useful guide.
You might just give me a sneak preview before midday before I go off air as well, if you don't mind.
Absolutely. I know Mary and the team are listening, so they don't need me to ring them. They'll get working on it now.
Mary, will you pop that into my inbox there, please? If you don't mind, because Dr. Deery will have other things to be doing throughout the day. So please drop it into my inbox and we can just let people know in advance. And then if we go to the Porter Shed website, we could do so this evening and get the full list from there. You had a very constructive teleconference yesterday in relation. Now we're talking about businesses in the greater Galway area that are all huge. There isn't one business that isn't affected by this pandemic, but a good meeting.
A very good meeting. So Minister Heather Humphreys and about 10 members of her team across all functions of the Department for Business, Enterprise and Innovation had a meeting for about an hour and a half with those of us in the Chambers Ireland CEO Forum. And it was really productive because it affords an opportunity, I think, for us to give very real and tangible feedback back to the Minister and her colleagues in terms of what's working, particularly the likes of the supports through the local enterprise office, the business continuity voucher and those sort of essential supports, but also to give a sense of what we think is going to be needed from the engagement we're having with members over the next few weeks and months. And, you know, there's lots of people, there's huge amounts of information coming out, Keith, and it's trying to narrow the focus and figure out for businesses what's relevant depending on what sector they're in. And I was also able to brief the Minister on the work that we're doing in Galway Chamber around the Business Recovery Forum. And you would have seen last week we went out encouraging businesses who are interested to get involved in the discussion and to reach out to myself or indeed through the Galway Chamber platforms, because we know that recovery and reboot will mean different things for different businesses. Some are trading and trading strongly at the moment, Keith, because they're deemed as an essential service, and indeed many others are either on half-mast or fully closed. So we wanted to be able to give real and tangible feedback to the Minister, and she was very engaging and took all our feedback on board in terms of what we believe is needed over the coming weeks and months. And I would encourage any of your listeners who have thoughts or ideas on getting involved in the Business Recovery Forum, and indeed even yourself, Keith, we would welcome that participation and in those conversations.
But it's, I suppose, to try and get their head around recovery at this stage, because most of them have been shut for nearly 4 weeks at this stage.
Yeah.
There's at least another 2 and a bit weeks to go on this one.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking at cash flow, they're looking at staff, they're looking at salaries, they're looking at top-ups, they're looking at not being able to afford to pay wages. They're worried about the future. They've got stock. What do they do with their summer stock? Do they buy in their autumn stock? I mean, the whole thing is just, it's a huge cause of concern to an awful lot of people.
It is. There are so many moving parts to it, and I think the one thing that I've been talking to quite a lot of businesses, as you can imagine, right through the week, and I know it's easy to say it, but it's just to keep a calm, rational focus. If you were to allow it get to you, it could very easily get to you. And I think that's the one thing for all who are concerned at this time. Literally, if you haven't already, start on a blank page, begin writing down every one of those parts. So, for example, some of our retailers are very concerned because they have the spring-summer collections in stock and the autumn-winter collections committed. And they're trying to renegotiate with their creditors in terms of what a repackage might look like there. I think the key thing is just to keep calm, keep talking, keep discussing. I had a lengthy conversation with one member yesterday evening who's very animated about the rate situation and that there still hasn't been news from government in terms of what's happening about the potential write-off of rates. And, like everything else, that's a conversation that's happening. We're calling and have called for central government to fund the local authorities so that they can abolish the rates for those businesses that are closed in this time. So I think people just need to be patient, keep calm. The good news is that we seem from all engagements to have a very reactive and animated government, and they're also being proactive in terms of trying to figure out what are the challenges and how can we bridge them. There's a huge willingness there to try and help business, Keith.
But the fear, Kenny, that's there, that's the fear. It's the sheer fear that's there. And then when you see the likes of Oasis and Warehouse going into liquidation, and just alone in Galway, if you see like Warehouse and you see Oasis and you see Debenhams. Mm-hmm. I mean, as I spoke to one employee of one of them yesterday, they said, he said to me, I won't work for a long time, Keith, because there's so many talented people coming out of Debenhams and out of Warehouse and out of Oasis. We'll all be looking for jobs, he said, and we're just going to find it difficult.
Absolutely, and the landscape will be changed for that. There is no doubt, and I think you touch on a very valid point. It's our objective is to try and keep as many businesses afloat and open and supported as possible. But there will be a cohort of what you call displaced, highly talented people. And one aspect of the conversation, even with our own Chamber Council board, we held a virtual board meeting which went on for quite a number of hours earlier in the week. And that was a focus of the conversation as well in terms of what type of supports are going to be put in place to help adapt or retrain those very talented people to re-enter the workforce or to work with the likes of our colleagues in Portishead, Galway Technology Centre and these type of locations in terms of a recovery and a renaissance for themselves. Some will re-enter similar jobs, Keith, and others will end up setting up their own businesses. There will be a lot of support that will come through this. But without a doubt, I take your point, it's a very concerning period of time. It is for us. It's going to continue to be that way for many months. We're hearing commentary this morning about large-scale events and when they can return to normal, that's going to have a huge impact on certain sectors and certain businesses. But people are pivoting. You look at the likes of Paul Kaloran and his team in Exordo have yesterday launched a new virtual conference platform. A key part of their role was delivering and helping deliver physical conferences, and over the last month they've had to pivot and reinvent themselves to now create a platform that will deliver virtual conferences. So I think bit by bit we just need to be calm, focused and bit by bit, Keith, I see the next 3 to 6 months being critical to make sure that we keep engaging, bring people with us, keep sharing as much information as we can, and I will hope that a recovery of some sort will begin to kick back. And we're very lucky in Galway, if we call it that. There's many positive pillars there. We've some strong employers that are still on full trust. That's going to help the business community, because there will be a lot of, certainly in the corporate market, who will want to return to some sort of business as usual. We have a very strong life sciences network around Galway, and there's a great innovation and tech community. We have over 10 co-working enterprise supported spaces with the different agencies. So I think there's a lot of positives that we have in Galway that other locations don't have, and that's something that we have to be proud of and hopeful for.
I don't doubt that, and I'm thinking of a lot of people. I'm thinking of the hospitality sector today. I'm thinking of the retail sector. I'm thinking of the services sector. When you sit and think about it, like, we've just ground to a halt.
Yeah,
did we ever think you would see, and there's a cracking photograph in today's City Tribune taken by the Garda, the helicopter when it was down on Good Friday, of a deserted Galway city.
No, never I think in anyone's wildest dreams, and certainly not mine, did we think we'd see this. There will be many books written on this time, Keith, and certainly the key word, and it's easy to say it, but it is about resilience, and that keeping calm and focused and following the instructions. And I think there's a risk, even myself, you find, you get nearly tired of the restrictions, and you're saying, I'll do something, and it's like, the point number one is supporting the healthcare workers and making sure that we just follow the guidance. Don't put them in further difficulty. And I think there is more information than ever swirling around there in terms of learning, education. We have to keep it. We have to keep absorbing it. And I think that, along with a good dose of hopefully rational thinking and common sense, will see us over the coming weeks and months get back to some normality. And I can assure you, and one former colleague of mine and I were talking about this the last day, Keith, it was her 50th birthday, and she's now decided that it's going to be 50.5 celebrated on a date in October, and hopefully that will be one hell of a party, and we look forward to those type of positive events where we can really appreciate a lot of what we had in the past.
You don't want to name her by any chance, do you?
Well, it's a lady called Sharon Egan in there in Sherry Fitzgerald, so I'm sure she wouldn't. She's not a shy and delinquent type, so she'll have no issue with that. Also president of Network Galway this year. So working 9 to 5, I feel the Dolly Parton song coming on. 9 to 5 for 50.5 in October. Absolutely. Listen, you keep strong, and thanks for joining us today. Kenny Deery, Chief Executive of the Galway Chamber of Commerce there.